Do I have everybody's attention now?
Dog carcass in alley this morning. Dire tread on burst stomach. This city's afraid of me. I've seen its true face. The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. And when the drains finally scab over, all the vermin will drown. The accumulated filth of all their sex and murder will foam up around their waists. And all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
No power in the verse can stop me.
Okay, so don't even read this.
Don't even read it.
No, sorry. Yeah, don't read it with your eyes. Just read it out loud when you first see it.
Okay. What's going on, guys? My name is I Am the Ocean, and welcome to the obliteration of the establishment.
What does it sound like? You know when you get like an auto bot thing where you type what it says.
There's no space between the words.
Yeah. He just read it out like one of those. Like he didn't actually contemplate anything what he was saying, which, funnily enough, is how Hitler got into power. So
that's how this podcast is going to work.
That's how the podcast has started. Welcome to episode 41. Yay, 41.
It's a lot.
This is our 41 episode special, which is going to follow the same format as every other episode. But if you put the word "special" next to it, it sounds special. I'm joined by Jack Brown.
Hello.
And Loosemore.
Hello.
Still going with that Spanish vibe.
Intro works every time.
When did you become Mexican? When did you just?
Because you announced it.
You announced it
Loosemore from Mexico, didn't you?
Yeah, maybe.
Hello. That's Indian.
What's that?
I don't know.
Asian.
I don't want to know. Move on.
I don't want to know. Move on. I'm done. Podcast over, guys. Thanks for coming.
It's just me and Elle in silence.
Did you go see Mad Max today, Loosemore?
I did. Yeah,
it was. Tell us everything.
Faults.
It was good. It was a furious road, isn't it?
Ooh.
I mean, it's called Mad Max, the Fury Road. The road was furious. I mean,
is it
Jesus.
Not? Is it Mad Max?
How was Max?
Furious?
Was he mad or was he?
Well, he's pretty mad, isn't he? I mean, he's one of the more madder Maxes.
Excellent.
No, but it was genuinely. Have you seen like the movie Dread?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a studio.
It's set in a futuristic city where a police officer and his new partner have to shoot their way through a project building.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Alright.
No, it's kind of brutal like that. Like it doesn't like most blockbusters nowadays are a bit sort of friendly and there's like jokes and stuff. Like I'm talking like the Avengers movies.
Yeah, you're
Whereas
right.
like Dread and this and I'm trying to think of others are kind of brutal. They're like 18 rated or 15 rated, but they're like brutal movies. But they're obviously blockbusters, but they're just a bit more adult, if that makes sense.
They're a bit more cutting edge.
Yeah.
They stand on the forefront of our fathers. I don't know what I'm saying. I have read like really glowing reviews about its portrayal of women and that it is a particularly feminist friendly movie. Did you find that when you watched it?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, the female characters are the strongest characters in the movie.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everything
That's
like that.
That's unusual.
Yeah, like the fucking Serenity movie, the Joss Whedon thing. Like there's a woman in that called River, and she's fucking incredible, and all of her fight scenes are ridiculous, and stuff like that is really cool because it is different. And like sadly, we kind of have developed a culture where strong female characters are subversive because you don't see them very often. So I read a lot of really kind of good things about how Mad Max really stood out because it did that, and its critic scores have been fucking insane. Like, have you seen how well it's reviewed so far everywhere on every corner of the internet? It's fucking nuts.
What I've seen is people talk about it, and everyone I've heard from saying it's amazing.
Yeah,
they said it's a bit loud.
It's very loud, yeah, because it's a lot of there's one scene. Obviously, most of the scenes are them driving through the desert, but there's a scene where there's like they're chasing him, and there's a guy on guitar, and he's like riffing like metal, like on fucking guitar riffs, and it's really, really loud. And obviously, you got the car engines and explosions, and yeah, it's fucking fantastic. But yeah, there's not much dialogue. It's just a lot of explosions.
That's kind of that sounds good.
But I mean, if you could take anything out of the Michael Bay movies, it would be the dialogue, wouldn't it? It like in terms of like making those movies better, because the dialogue is horrible.
Generally, yes.
And then if you'd put in a little bit more, less sort of misogynistic stuff from the Michael Bay movies,
like that.
yeah. And then basically that is a movie that Michael Bay wishes he could make. I imagine. Like, I don't know whether it is actually, because I mean, he has all the money in the world. He can make whatever movie he wants, and then he chooses to make Transformers, which are bullshit.
He's comfortable with what he has.
I saw earlier that Transformers: Dark of the Moon is the 10th highest grossing film of all time.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
I don't understand that.
I went to be fair, right? Like we make.
I don't hate that film.
I do. But like we make fun of that, and we make fun of Michael Bay, and we make fun of how like sort of like I don't want to say. They're big dumb action movies. Like they're everything that they promise you they'll be. You know, cheesy comments and rehashed explosions and robots speaking in Ebonics, which is obviously robots from another planet definitely have black people from the ghetto also as robots. It's all really weird. But like I went to see that with my friends, and I was the only one who didn't like it. The rest of them were like, "Why didn't you like it?" And I was like, because it was really fucking stupid. And in the end, like, my friends now have this in-joke or kind of interpretation that I don't like Transformers because it wasn't realistic, which is obviously fucking stupid, because I like a lot of things that aren't realistic at all. I mean, science fiction is probably my favorite genre, but I guess most people just can't grasp why that would be a dumb movie, like why it wouldn't seem original to people. So that's why they're so popular, because they're exactly what they promised to deliver, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this I mean, Mad Max was kind of that. Like, it had all those things, like explosions and not so much CGI, but most of the special effects was obviously done for real. But you know, you can make a movie that's actually good, has a message, isn't misogynistic, and you can still have a fucking good time.
I don't think you go and watch you don't go and watch an action film nowadays for it to be realistic, though, do you?
It kind of depends. I think we've evolved into this stage of action movies being...
I think they have to be unrealistic, but people complain about them when they are.
I think the only way you can successfully make an action movie now is that it's so over the top and so in your face with its over the topness. For example, what's that Jared Butler White House movie? What's that? Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
That kind of movie, or else you have to be an all-out parody of an action movie like.
That wasn't in terms of what actually happened. It was unrealistic, but in terms of what you were seeing, it wasn't unrealistic. I don't think.
No, but it was very ridiculous.
Yeah, but the whole storyline. Is that what you're talking about? The storyline.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it's the Hong Kong, not Hong Kong.
North
it's
Korea, the
North Korea. Why did I say Hong Kong? That knows.
Racism, I suppose.
As if a plane would piloted by somewhere off from Asia would get that close to the White House.
As if an AC-130 would just fucking open fire on the whatever that garden thing is called that it opened fire on in Washington.
The White House Garden.
The White House Garden. That is the official name of it. Yeah, I do believe so. But yeah, like action movies nowadays are getting very. I think they're getting more brave with what they think they can get away with it and stuff, because the last 3 Fast and Furious movies have all had really good overall ratings, because I think people have just gone, wait a minute, we've been making fun of action movies all this time, but they're actually decent. Like, now that we're past the Transformers phase and into the Marvel, like, you know, superhero thing and all that, and...
Yeah, but don't you think like there was action movies from the late 80s, early 90s were actually good action movies though?
Well, Die Hard is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, you got Lethal Weapon, you know, The Rock starring anything with Nicolas Cage from about 1993 to 1997, all good.
Isn't it
I think
funny
you need to widen that broadens to anything that Nicolas Cage has ever done.
Yes. Yeah,
I think it's the best film ever made.
funny that The Rock was directed by Michael Bay?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. Back when
That's regrettable.
Yeah, he also directed Armageddon.
So the only way like Shawshank Redemption could have been any better is if like Nicolas Cage had his character from Con Air in it.
And it was directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Shawshank prison they were breaking out of. It was the plane in Con Air. And instead of Morgan Freeman, it was John Malkovich. There's a lot of ways that movie could have been improved, I'm just saying.
It's a good film though.
Con Air.
Both.
Yeah, true. I think Con Air is good.
I love Con Air.
But I don't rate what is critically like acclaimed as the greatest movie of all time, Shawshank Redemption. Nah, it's
In a way,
okay.
yeah.
It's not Con Air though.
Do you like Shawshank Redemption?
Like it's like, you know, I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie because it's quite obviously one of the greatest movies ever made. But I don't really like it. I mean, I liked it when I saw it, and it was lovely and everything about it was kind of perfect. But I can never watch it again because I know everything. Like,
The thing I hate about certain things is that I don't like not being able. I hate the thought of not watching something I've seen. Let me try and explain this properly. I want to watch something like Breaking Bad. I wish I totally forgot about it all and then watched it again.
I know.
And that's kind of what I want from a film, but I know you're never going to get that kind of thing.
I have a lot of movies like that. Like I can never explain to people though what it is about the Shawshank Redemption that makes it so unrewatchable for me. Like for me, it has zero rewatchability, and I think that's
Which is
because,
totally different to everyone else.
Yeah.
Because literally every time it's on TV, people watch it.
Yeah, people know it off by heart. I think for
Yeah.
me, it's that it's very, very linear and not obvious, but I think everything just fits together in it perfectly, and for that reason, rewatching it just doesn't really give me any pleasure. Whereas a movie like Gone Girl, which I rewatched the other day, or Fight Club, I just picked those because they're two Fincher movies, and they're not so... they don't all... They're more complex, I think, just in the story that...
Right, I watched Godzilla again last night.
Yeah.
It came out last year and it's the third time I've watched it.
You watch a lot of movies over and over, don't you?
Yeah. And that was still great, but that was more cinematically.
Yeah,
that's not something that's going to go down a bit like a Shawshank Redemption as being one of the greatest movies of all time. That is that Godzilla is like a popcorn movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you're meant to sit down lots of times and watch. But yeah, we had this conversation, didn't we, last week on the podcast about the difference between movies we love to watch over and over again and movies, because we took some movies to the desert island with us, obviously.
Oh yeah.
When we were there last week.
Yeah.
You took movies.
That's crazy.
We took movies, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like
Jack,
to hear
there's
your-
nothing gay about three men on an island together. For God's sake.
Speaking of gay, as we record this, tomorrow
See, that's what I was trying to do.
is
It's a great segue.
It
Yeah.
is, it is.
That was
Today,
my fault behind
technically, earlier on today for you guys, on Friday, the 22nd of May, Ireland should have, we're recording this on Thursday night, but Ireland should have become the first European country to democratically vote in favour of gay marriage, essentially.
Haven't most people just pulled it in, haven't they?
Yeah, in England, I think they just passed it as a bill through,
Yeah.
and then it just became the law of the land. But over here, I suppose, with a country that has these Catholic roots that it can't really cut out until the older generations die off and just stop.
Yes. I think Ireland's probably more religious than England is.
No, not at the moment, I wouldn't say. I'd say historically, like, yeah, absolutely, but...
Every country's gone away from religion anyway, aren't you?
Pretty much. Apparently, though, something like 60% of the population in the UK, and that's English people, not Muslims, because obviously it seems to us as though Muslim people have a stronger affinity with their faith than Christians do. But apparently 60% of the English population self-identifies as Christian.
I don't think that.
I think that we
I
do,
don't think
yeah.
I don't think like Muslims have more affinity with their religion. I just think there's more that they have to do because of their religion.
I don't really know enough about it. Like,
Yeah.
I just kind of generally get the I get the impression that because their countries are there's no separation between religion and state. You know what I mean? The church and the state are essentially one and the same. So it's harder to break away from it, which is what Ireland was like, 30 years ago. Whereas I've grown up in Ireland and seen it go from like the town I grew up in was very, very Catholic, and the Ireland that I live in now is completely different, where we're hopefully voting in favour of gay marriage. My bus drives past like so many posters from the Vote No campaign. I don't know who's even funding the Vote No campaign, but their logic behind their like opinion of why you shouldn't vote in favour of gay marriage is all to do with children, and it's so fucking
To do with children?
Yeah, it's so
In case what? The children...
Like a children shortage?
No, in case you like a child needs a mother and a father is what they're trying to say. And therefore two men, like what I love is that one of them is like a woman kissing her daughter, and it says a mother's love is irreplaceable, and I'm like, yeah, but so therefore if two lesbians adopt a kid, then that kid is gonna be fucking saved the whole way through life. Two mothers.
Yeah, that kid's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Just sail through life.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nailing everything.
Yeah,
Be great
so
for women.
I found the No campaign to be incredibly disrespectful and like if I was homophobic and I hated the gays, I'd still be voting in favour of gay marriage just to silence idiots who think.
But yeah, anything voting no against that is going to be
idiotic.
They're not going to use logic, are they?
Doesn't seem so.
Because there is no logic to say to support their sort of ideas, to support their vote.
Is there any argument to be had that two dads could somehow do a less of a job than a mum and a dad? Like, is that symmetry really anything other than tribalism?
Well, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Every parent comes down to who they are.
Exactly.
As individual people, yeah.
Yeah.
And how they work together as parents, not because they're male and female.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so like, I don't know what word I'm trying to look for. I suppose it's below the belt. Like it's a really sort of mind fucky tactic to do. Like it's just a cunty thing to say. Like,
well, I think you can. It doesn't matter. You're better off. I mean, you can have one parent and still be perfectly fine. What difference does it make whether you have a mother and a father over two fathers?
I know, yeah. I say this
By their logic, if they had if there was a kid whose mum died or something and it was just a dad's left, by their logic, the state would come and take the child off him and said, "You're just a man, that you can't do this."
Yeah, and
exactly.
that's another really uncomfortable part that I have with their argument, right? Is that they're saying a child needs a mother and a father, right? So I don't know how many orphans there are in Ireland, but like anybody who is an orphan in Ireland is being basically the No campaign is saying no, it's better off for a child to be parentless in an orphanage than for them to have two parents of the same sex who both love that child. You know what I mean? How ridiculous and short-sighted and fucking ignorant is that? Like straight up, you know?
But when there's when there's an obvious answer, and the obvious answer is yes, allow it, then the opposition's thoughts against it will never have any logic ever.
Yeah.
The problem is it's the same in politics and any sort of walk of life. You're always going to get someone who opposes it, and the opposition to it, even though it seems logical in every aspect to us, the opposing argument is always going to be one that doesn't make any sense. Like from their point of view, they're making an argument that seems logical to them, but to the rest of us, it's like that doesn't make any sense for so many reasons. But they're going to oppose it no matter what. You know, you can come up with any excuse they want. They're just going to oppose it, aren't they? It's not about the excuse.
It's like it's fear and blind bigotry being disguised as a well-meaning message for potential children.
Yeah,
who are,
exactly. Yeah,
it's really like, and I think genuinely just fear and lack of understanding is a lot of what comes into it, because I've had like messages from people who are like, but like, do you not think that a child, it should be a mother and a father? Like, it's not right. Like, that's another thing they always say. It's not right. Like, but like, why isn't it?
Who are you to decide what's right?
Yeah. Like,
Who is anyone to decide what's right?
I never said this on my channel before, but like, I was raised by a single parent, and I like to think I turned out relatively okay. I don't think you can turn around and be like, yeah, no, it definitely.
Your mum fucked up.
Yeah, like it's so, I don't know, it's fucking stupid bullshit really at the end of the day, and it's just offensive. And like I said, even if I hated gay people, I'd still be voting for them to be able to get married, just so that morons wouldn't have the right to fucking decide that a child has to be raised by a mother and a father. Like, go fuck yourself. It's just disrespectful to so many parties. But yeah, keep fighting the good fight, guys.
Yeah. Guys are good.
Yeah.
We take any message away from this podcast.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Did you guys see that they released in a massive segue here? They released the what did they release? All of like the information about Bin Laden's hideout, where they went in and got him in 2011. The SEAL Team 10. No, SEAL Team 10 is the SEAL.
SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, well, in Metal Gear Solid, it was SEAL Team 10. All right, so Solid
Some
Snake.
seals they got from SeaWorld.
Some seals they got from SeaWorld were sent to Pakistan, and they went in to get Osama bin Laden. But yeah, they released all of his stuff. Now, everything I've read contradicts every other thing that I've read. Fox News are having a great time saying, "Oh, it was conspiracy works by the left."
Knowing Fox News, it's just going to be like, oh, we found a picture in a frame of him and Obama.
We found a picture in a frame of Gerard slipping. Oh, this podcast will have dislikes. Yeah, so apparently BBC have reported anyways that among like several books on law and military strategy and stuff, there was books claiming that the US was complicit in the 9/11 attacks, which is really fucking interesting. That Bin Laden was holding lots of conspiracy theories about 9/11, which he orchestrated. And that's going to raise a whole lot of... That's going to send the internet into a frenzy over the next few days. Like, all of the conspiracy freaks will... Well, I shouldn't call them freaks. All of the conspiracy weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have a great time being like...
They'll be talking about jet fuel and steel beams for the next... or for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Steel beams always gets me.
I know. But yeah, they actually have a full list of all of the books that he was reading, and really surprised that one of them is They Dared to Dream, the story of Liverpool's season last year when they finished second.
Yeah, it's crazy, really. I mean, how did that manage to get there when he died in 2011?
Yeah, I don't know. He was a really big fan.
He's really ahead of his time.
Is there anything to be said about?
I'd like there to be like videos released of the actual capture, and it's just like Bin Laden in the background, like going, "Oh, we go again!" He just, as he's running out, he slips. Shit.
Yeah, they also.
And Denver Bar runs through.
It's too much. The thing.
This is not going in the podcast, is it?
The thing about this, right, is that I can't explain to people enough that, like, I don't care at all about football. I could not give a fuck. Like, you can make fun of Celtic. I do not care. It does not offend me in any way. And those are your opinions, and that's totally fine. Like, think whatever you want to think. Like, the whole making fun of Steven Gerrard thing is purely down to the fact that he said the word slip and then he slipped. He said this does not slip and then he slipped. And the reason why that's hilarious should be obvious to you if you're not a Liverpool fan. Like, it's not
to do with hate.
Yeah, it's not picking on Liverpool for losing out, or like, it's not being like, oh, Liverpool fucking cunts, lol, Man United till I die. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that objectively it is hilarious. And
it just is.
Like, you know, it was last season. Like, you have to kind of accept that it is one of the funnier things that will happen.
If I was a Liverpool fan, I would see the humour in it.
So would I, but I can also say honestly that 5 years ago, if it happened to Celtic, I wouldn't find it funny. But like,
yeah, I suppose it's different when, like, I don't really watch football now. I don't like it so much.
Nah, I mean,
so as a proper fan, if that's me, I might be more. I wouldn't find it as funny, but
if you can't, I think like being a football fan is a really dangerous thing for your overall like intellect if you can't pull yourself out of the world of being if you can't pull yourself out of the tribe for a moment and look at it from the outside and think that like this is why everyone is laughing. It's not an agenda. Like and like sure a lot of United fans find it funny because it winds Liverpool fans up, but like it's not, there's no agenda, there's no hate towards Liverpool Football Club. It's just hilarious that he said this does not slip and then he slipped. That's like it's funny, you know.
It just is.
Anyways, what do you guys think about the fact that one of the books he had in his on his bookshelf is Nickelback, the greatest band of all time. No, it's New Pearl Harbor, disturbing questions about the Bush administration and 9/11. You can only imagine what kind of a book that is.
There's a lot of like people say, oh, it's just a bookcase, but there is more to be read into this than people think. Because I think you can tell from what people read or people's bookcase, you can get a look into their head sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Like if you see, like you know that Norwegian
Anders Breivik.
Breivik, that's one. He had some ridiculous books and stuff in his house, and it's fairly. I think there's probably a good pattern between him and sort of other terrorists, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's. I don't know.
People dismiss his bookcase as just books, but like
yeah, I think it says like Fox News are really peddling this. You know, he was reading American left-leaning authors saying anti-American things, and I'd say that he was reading stuff like that so that he could not as such profess his innocence, but use that as a tool to recruit more people, you know, and say this is what they're saying and stuff. But it's kind of a well-known fact as well that like terrorists, particularly when it comes to terrorists who recruit through religion, they do it by preying on sort of vulnerability and stuff like that. So there's so many ways that he could use conspiracy theories to recruit other people. So it's probably not really that big of a surprise that he has books like this, but he's
just doing his homework, isn't he? That's all it is.
You'd imagine so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously quite a clever guy, you know, so he's just doing a bit of recon, you know, just a bit of...
Trying to get his English GCSE.
He's trying to get his English GCSE, yeah.
And that is his right as a man.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away from him. Is that all we have to say about it?
Well, you got some. He's got the Vietnam. I think one of them was the Vietnam War. So I think.
Know your enemy, I suppose, would be the.
Yeah.
He's got an everyday man's guide to steel beams and.
Yeah.
Can jet fuel, man.
Steel beams 101.
It would have been like surprising if you'd found like Where's Wally up there or something.
They found a GameSpot
that would have been interesting,
video
yeah.
game guide.
Oh really?
Delta Force Extreme 2 video game guide.
It's not the kind of publicity they want, really, is it?
No.
Oh, yeah, Bin Laden read us.
10 out of 10. Best video game guide ever. Osama Bin Laden, 2011.
Probably talk about Modern Warfare 2 with that.
Oh, yeah.
Airport scene.
Well, we all know that Modern Warfare 2 is the greatest video game of all time. Arguably, one of them.
I meant more with the Russian scene, but...
Yeah.
No Russian.
The airport one. It's actually bad that he found video game guides, because I'm sure the Fox News will also find a way to correlate that with what he did.
Games caused 9/11.
David Von
the Daily Mail will definitely run with the headline.
Bin Laden got confused with games in real life.
Yeah.
He was playing GTA and threw a jet into a fucking building, and it turns out it was real life.
That part of me hopes that the Daily Mail does say that, just so that I can laugh at the Daily Mail, because they really do play up to their villainy an awful lot of the time. But then the infuriating part is that it's one of the most read newspapers in the world, and that's pretty terrifying. But I also saw a report on Reuters or Reuters.com saying Bin Laden fixated on attacking U.S. interests, which I'm shocked to learn.
I can't believe that.
Is that news?
Yeah, there's a lot of There's a lot of like information that I'm looking forward to reading when the relevant newspaper chops it up and spits it out to fit their agenda, so that I can
Yeah.
I can
That's
take
going to be the most interesting part. Which newspapers and which liberal newspapers and which left newspapers to the right and left, and see what they do with the story. You know?
Yeah, it is. Like stuff like that is always mega interesting. I saw. Do you guys know who LP is, the rapper?
No.
No.
He is one half of Run the Jewels.
Ah, the white one.
Yeah, the white one, the producer.
Is he the runner or the jewel?
The Jewel.
Is the jewel.
He tweeted earlier on saying, "Funny, once the report drops completely contradicting the official story of Bin Laden's death, a treasure trove of information hits the papers." I'm sure it's 100% accurate though, which like is pretty much what is to be taken away from it. The fact that they're all just like, yeah, here's all this new information that we have in our tabloids that we've just been sitting on this whole time waiting for this to break.
Yeah.
I find it funny to think.
It's a similar story to the Prince Charles. The Guardian campaigned for ages, didn't they, to get the Black Spider letters? Well, they called them the Black Spider letters, which makes it
The Black Spider memoirs.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or whatever they were called, and in the end, all he really liked to do was like farming, essentially. And you're just like, what were they trying to uncover? Like that he plotted to kill Diana, or that Prince Harry isn't his son, or something. You know, it doesn't. And then in the end, he's just like, I really like potatoes, and you think, well, yeah, because he's not going to say anything amazing in them, is he?
Not quite Anne Frank, is it?
It's because he's kind of like an eccentric sort of figure who's really kind of like very alternative for the type of person that you would expect him to be. Like, even isn't his name Prince Charles? Like, what the hell is that all about? There's no way he's interested in anything good. Like, but I remember it because I remember thinking to myself, I just remember thinking that the Black Spider Memoirs is an awesome name for an album, really.
Yeah. It's kind of wasted on some guy writing letters to the Tony Blair about how he loves farming.
Dear Tony,
Yeah.
Today I saw a combine harvester and it was very big and very loud.
I like farming. Regards, Prince.
Regards, your boy, Prince C.
Your pen pal.
Side note, if you guys could make a band, what would your name be? What would your band name be?
Soho Slags. Nailed it.
Brown coming up with the goods once again.
I reckon like Release the Kraken or something like that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
That's right.
You're
Cool.
definitely a post-hardcore kind of a...
Never get past my Soho Slags.
Yeah, Soho Slags. That's alternative hip hop, isn't it, Jack? Soho Slags.
Wouldn't even have you supporting us. We wouldn't have support actually. It would be just be.
You wouldn't have any fucking gigs. You wouldn't.
We'd just be in Soho busking.
Jack, can you remember the login details for the Dear Jack Ask a
Fuck
Fan?
No, I can't actually.
Oh, that's really upsetting.
Skittles.
Nah, that had nothing to do with it.
You just gave away your password for everything.
Shit. That's not a password for everything, but I remember it being said.
I was gonna like get us an episode of Dear Jack because you weren't on the episode last week, and the one before that you were very quiet, and I just feel like that Soho Slags thing was just a moment of
brought me back to life.
just
The Soho.
classic
Soho
Jack
Slag.
Brown fucking bullshit.
At least you got a name for the podcast now.
Soho Slags. Jack Brown and the Soho Slags.
Oh, that is. Yeah.
That is a ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it that. I might call it Flick It On. That's the one.
What we talk about the what about the England squad?
Jamie
How,
Vardy.
how hilariously bad that is.
I didn't even look at it. Do you know I couldn't give a fuck about international football at all.
I find myself more interested in international football than normal football.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
The only time I ever watch football now is like the big televised games, and that's pretty much it. Like I have an interest in it because of betting, but I don't really watch the games that I bet on as such. I just bet on them based on probability, and like I study it and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd agree with that. Like the last big match I actually watched, like sometimes I have football on in the background that I don't really give a shit about. But the last was Madrid Juventus.
Oh, I didn't even watch that.
No, I haven't watched a game since. I think Chelsea had a game a little while ago that I might have watched some of.
Chelsea
We was all
are
watching something.
not really a fun team to watch at the moment.
Nah. What was the game you all tried to watch?
I don't know. When was this?
A couple of weeks ago, and like we were trying to figure out who was first on stream. Was it Real Madrid?
Oh, it was. I remember that. Yeah, we were all watching it together in a
Mm.
Skype call. I can't fucking remember what game it was at all. I have no recollection of that even happening.
But instantly, this is the squad to face Ireland, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Slovenia.
I mean,
Yeah.
like you got to. It's the game to experiment in.
Yeah. I have to say about the English media is they put far too much fucking importance on shit like this. Like, stuff like the squad, who's captaining the squad. That's always a huge source of
Yeah.
like information in the English media. They're always like, oh, this guy should be the how can he be the captain if he's done this off? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, Robbie Keane is the captain for Ireland and nobody gives a fuck. He's not even a particularly good captain. He's just the captain because he's the most decorated player who plays for Ireland. Like,
There won't be many like people on the pitch. You won't look up to him.
yeah, exactly. Where like it's just I don't know, too much fucking shit gets peddled when it comes to ways of dissecting the English team and tearing them down and stuff like that, and it's just so like just shut the hell up with it and just get on with it. And this is why there's so much focus about how England plays and why England are bad and all stuff like that, and it's annoying as an outsider ultimately. But Jamie Vardy's in the team.
Which I think is very strange.
Whatever.
Is it though? Because I mean, in terms of form, he's shown just as much form as Danny Welbeck in the last 11 games. I mean, how many games now have Leicester been on a like an unbeaten streak or whatever? Is it 8?
9.
Yeah. So yeah, he's in as just as good a form as anybody really. I mean, Rooney's not scored that many for United.
I'll tell you what's very strange. You know that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain guy?
Yes.
Not personally, but yes.
He's 21 years old. Cunt's been
Is
around
that
for
it?
like 10 fucking years and he's
Yeah.
21. What the hell is up with that?
Yeah, he was like at Southampton. Must have been at like 15, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know, but
He must have been brought at like 17 by Arsenal.
I think he was. Yeah. It's weird because he's one of those players who hasn't actually played that much, has he?
No,
Like, in
it's,
terms
it's
of,
never
like-
been in their first. Rarely, I think for probably half a season, and the whole lot has been in their first
Yeah,
level.
he features in half the games that they play in a season. But then again, he's also had a lot of injury problems.
Yeah.
So what about?
I'm not excited about it. I mean, is England-Ireland an exciting prospect? I mean, I know it's a friendly, but as an Irishman, and we're both English, are we, Jack? Yeah.
Oh, we fucking do the scum.
Yeah, I'm not really excited for it. Like, I mean, people often talk about like the old nations football, where they, we play Ireland and play Scotland and play Wales and stuff. But I'm not really excited for England versus Ireland. I mean, we're both not very good.
No. What about Sterling?
He said Jamie Carragher was a knob.
Oh no, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just trying to. It's hard to say what he's actually doing, but I think he's just trying to improve himself. Like he can do better than Liverpool.
Oh yeah, I think he can. But
Liverpool
the thing
know
is,
that. I don't think
he
so actually.
probably owes Liverpool something.
Money.
But I like the fact that he said that in the statement, didn't he, or his agent said something along the lines of he's been bullied by Liverpool into accepting a contract. And you think that's not really the right phrase to use in terms of that amount of money. And you're saying you're being bullied into accepting £100,000 a week contract. It's like, okay.
I can't
But
really.
there's a lot of people come out saying, "Oh, I'd love to be bullied to get signed 100 grand a week," but if you're not in the same position where he can go elsewhere, earn more money, and be a better player.
I love when people are just literally incapable of understanding perspective. Like, just coming out like, if a player is, if ever a player is going through a bad personal spell and they're underperforming on the pitch because of it, people come out and say like, oh well, if I was getting 160 grand a week, I wouldn't feel sad. Like, how about you shut the fuck up? So fucking thick, like.
Yeah, it's like brother dies or something. Like, well, I wouldn't cry if my brother died and I was rich. It's like, yeah, you would, you silly twat.
Like, the thing is, like, every single human has the exact same, like, barometer, or, like, the exact same measurements for happiness and unhappiness. So, like, someone who is, like, seconds away from the most painful, drawn-out death of their life is just as unhappy as some millionaire somewhere. Because that's how happiness works. It's not a thing that's affected by your, like, cosmetic or material possessions that you have. Like, it's a deeply ingrained sort of emotive thing that you can't just wish away by saying, yeah, well, money and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's homeless people. There's homeless people who are happier right now than I am, and I have a PlayStation. You know.
That's the way the world works, and the sooner people realize that, the better. Instead of, like, that's the problem with being a football fan, and the reason why I'm not the reason why I don't identify as a football fan anymore is things like that and people like that who just like ruin it for the rest. There's a great line in have you ever seen Modern Family?
No.
Yeah.
Right, you know the ginger gay guy.
Yeah, not Cameron. It's
not
Mitch.
Cam, the other one. Yeah, Mitch. Is it Mitch?
Mitchell, yeah.
Mitchell. Well, like, Mitchell's trying to impress his dad, and, like, his husband, Cam, and his dad get along really well because of football. So Mitchell tries to also get involved in football, and Cam is like, are you sure you're going to be able to learn everything about football this quickly? And then Mitchell replies with, well, if football fans can do it. And that's just, like, that kind of sums up what I think about football fans. Like, they're not the most, especially in groups. For some reason, they get even stupider when they're in groups. And it's incredible, especially when there's
like there's a very damaging difference to the IQ when there's a group of football fans.
Oh, I've always said it, that football has the ability to turn seemingly intelligent people into fucking morons with, like, one swift thing. Like, remember the Newcastle fan who punched a horse? That was because of football. He punched the horse because of football.
I would rate that up on...
To be fair, we don't know what he does on weekends when he's not watching football.
He might be a professional horse puncher.
He may very well be a profession. Is that a profession? Jack, have you made that up, or is that a real profession?
No, that's what me and the Soho slags do on the side.
It's the front cover of your debut album. You punching a horse.
Making like a West Side sign with my hand.
The worst thing is I can actually imagine it. I found the login information for Dear Jack.
God.
Do you want a question?
Yeah.
Jack, why does the ball not go off the ground when I kick it? I need help.
The thing is, people have got to a point where their questions are funnier than my answers would ever be. Like the person with, remember the alphabet spaghetti?
Yeah, the alphabet spaghetti one was brilliant.
What was he missing? Vowels or something? I can't remember.
My alphabet spaghetti. Yeah, I think it's no vowels in my alphabet spaghetti or something like that. It was,
yeah.
Oh no, my alphabet spaghetti has numbers instead of letters.
I remember the first one I actually made up some questions. Was that it? Did Jack know about that?
Yeah, one of them did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
No, yeah, you said it out loud, like, but it was like 2 episodes after the Russell Crowe facts one.
Right.
Which
we were really on a high.
Yeah. We're buzzing off the Russell Crowe episode, yeah.
Yeah, we were doing really well around that time. Here I am.
How the mighty have fallen.
To like completely change the entire spectrum of this episode. I read this article today by Adam Todd Brown, who, like, usually he's actually the worst columnist. Like, I actually go out of my way to read his articles just to hate them. But I'll put it in the chat now so you guys can read it, because I thought it'd make a really good discussion topic that we could close the episode tonight with and lead into next week's one with. So, like, next week we'll have a more sort of serious episode where we actually have, like, plans for it. But for those of you listening, the article I read today was called 4 Creepy Visions of Hell from Real Near-Death Experiences. So this is people who died, like clinically were dead, but then were brought back to life.
Dead.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
else they fell into a coma or whatever.
It's like especially when they're clinically dead and then brought back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to zombies, yeah.
But the first one is a woman called Angie Fenimore, who in 1991 tried to commit suicide. I don't know how she attempted it. It doesn't actually say, but whatever happened, like, she died for a while. And her account is that she was surrounded in darkness that went on forever, and she could make out the figures of a group of young people nearby and blurted out, "Oh, we must be the suicides." Which the writer Adam Todd Brown says it's inappropriate, but that's a pretty great thing to say. But anyways, she said that like nobody picked up on what she said, and she couldn't communicate with any of them. So like she was there, they all existed together in the same sort of realm, but they couldn't talk. And then she got banished to a different part of hell, which was like an open field where there was lost souls roaming about it, and they were able to communicate with each other, but they were too consumed by their own misery to engage in any sort of human interaction. This is from the article.
That's a really good description of hell.
Yeah, I know. It actually really got me thinking, right? Because it says the guy has found a source that from the early 20th century, a Spanish nun who described hell in a very, very similar way to that, which I found to be really fucking interesting that two people have come up with this account of hell. But I reckon, like, if enough people believe in a hell, there's gonna be correlated. Like, how many really
I mean, I assume
terrible scenarios.
I assume this woman is religious.
I don't think so. In fact, most of the entries on the list, it points out that they are not religious at all, or at least they weren't up until that point. Like, I don't really believe in a heaven or a hell, but I think it's if it happened to me, I would be fucking terrified enough to become religious, I'd say, after.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the bottom of the article where what she's doing now?
No.
If you scroll right to the bottom of the article, the Angie Fenimore article, and read the final, the second but last paragraph and the final sentence, which is pretty amazing what she does now.
The Divine Royal of Utah
And the prophetess,
of the Church of Latter-day Saints.
which is amazing. You know, if you're gonna die and come back to life, you want to be given the title.
She's done it properly.
Yeah, you want to be given the title of Divine Royal of Utah and the prophetess of the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I mean, you know, don't die for no reason. Die for that. You know, for a great fucking title.
If you could like describe your own personal hell, what would it be?
Probably.
This podcast.
Wow, man.
I don't know.
Sitting
But then-
in a room with Chad Kroeger and Avril Lavigne.
having to listen to Photograph
Yeah.
over and over for the rest of my life.
But I think hell is often depicted as on Earth anyway is different, like depression and stuff like that, isn't it? You know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
not necessarily fields of people.
The thing, like, so this Angie woman, having found out that she's a prophetess of the Latter-day Saints, that makes me think more that she kind of made this up. And
Yeah, it kind of takes away any
I
credibility.
have no fucking right to say that. That's cunty of me, but like that's just the way my mind works now. So, but I really sort of am
A
interested.
lot of them things, if they turn out to be religious, a lot of them things are, in their own minds, only furthers their own belief in stuff, even if they know it's incorrect.
One of the intros to the Midnight Hour, I forget which episode it is, but it's actually a guy describing his version of hell from when he went there, and he was a religious guy, and I put it in there because it sounded really fun. The thing is, though, a lot of these are, like, what I like about Angie's sort of idea of hell is that it's actually terrifying, because it's just people being depressed, essentially. It's souls who can't communicate because they're so sad with they're so consumed by their own misery. that's fucking terrifying, and that's got nothing to do with cliches like demons eating your flesh or fucking in the Bible. I'm pretty sure that hell is described. The only time hell is ever described in the Bible, it's actually described as being cold, and
Yeah, I think so.
just that alone completely goes against. And like Satan is never even described in the Bible as like basically our depiction of hell is completely.
I think it's only because of Hades, isn't it? Because we kind of get.
Oh.
Because Hades in the Greek mythology, is it, or Roman mythology? I can't remember. His depiction is that he's the god of hell, or whatever, isn't he, or something like that.
Yeah, and someone goes down to hell to get someone back from hell.
Yeah, and then that depiction, I think, is sometimes got crossed over with the Bible's depiction of what hell is, and when we kind of just make up this.
In Christianity, in the Bible, isn't Satan or the leader of hell a fallen angel?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What I read quite recently was that Lucifer is one of the fallen angels who became evil, but like the word Satan comes from a Latin word which means something along the lines of enemy, not quite enemy, I forget what the actual word is. I think it's antagonist, I think. And
which Satan sort of is in the Bible.
Yeah, but it's used to describe several of these like demonic types, like these.
Well, I think it's used to describe temptation, isn't it? The things that you are meant to tempt you away from doing.
Yeah, like
good things.
The snake in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, exactly.
Was not Satan at all, and it doesn't say that anywhere. In fact, I don't even think it says that it was an apple, but that's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, a lot of like the stuff that we've interpreted from, like we've misinterpreted things because of the language. Like I'm not saying that it's written wrong. I'm saying that the language changes what we perceive, and that's another thing, is that people who see their own vision of hell, like there's a lot of reasons why that could happen because of the medication that you'd be on if you were in a coma.
Hallucinogenic or
yeah, and
genetic.
Like I don't think there's much weight to be had in the fact that most people see flesh-eating demons because that's your perception of hell, so that's what you're going to see if you're imagining hell, you know. I'd say for a lot of people too, like a lot of people just wonder privately, whether they disclose it or not, that if they die, are they likely to go to hell or not? Because I know I think about it, like if there is a hell, like I'll probably end up going.
I don't think I've ever thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, I think because I'm so.
You've never really thought about anything though.
I don't. Yeah. Have I ever thought? But no, like I don't think I don't really think anything serious enough. If I was agnostic rather than
Atheist.
What's it? Atheist. For some reason, I was about to say autistic.
Yeah, you're definitely one of them.
If I was agnostic rather than atheist, I was really careful because I was literally about to say again. Then I think I'd put more thought into it, which is obviously is the definition of agnostic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Haven't really made a decision.
I consider myself to be agnostic, and people like Ricky Gervais and Richard Dawkins say you can't, like, being agnostic is you're sitting on the fence between science and religion, right? And that's bollocks. It's purely down to a fucking like interpretation type thing. Like I'm not comfortable with the description of atheism enough because it's really the belief in nothing, and I don't necessarily know that I believe that beyond Earth and like our galaxy and universe and stuff, that there isn't something we don't
understand
about our very existence. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think we all have a purpose or a soul or any of that bullshit, but like I do think that there are so many things about the universe that get me very excited that I read about, like, you know, like simulated reality and all stuff like that. And it's not that I necessarily believe in any of them, but I'm not going to close the door on them because I find them really interesting.
It's not like I don't think atheists. People say atheists don't believe in anything, but that's not true. Atheists believe that there is nothing to believe in. I think I don't know. I think they don't. They believe there is nothing rather than they don't believe in anything.
I think the technical term for atheism is quite simply the lack of belief in deities. I'm pretty sure that it's always been about the fact that there is no deity,
a high presence, yeah, like a someone who created everything.
Right, and that's fine, and I'm fine with that. And to a point, I align myself with that belief too. But what I'm not comfortable with is the description, or the definition of a deity, because it differs from a god in the traditional sense, and that's why I don't go along with atheism. Because, like, if the simulated reality theory, for example, I always go back to that one because I've talked about it on my channel before, and it's really easy to explain. It's basically that we exist in the Matrix. But if that turned out to be true, then would the people in charge of programming it not be a deity by definition?
Yes.
Yeah, so therefore I can't rightly call myself an atheist, because I
don't think I would call myself an atheist anyway, because I don't know. I don't know either way. I think if I had to choose, I'd say I'm Church of England, because the beliefs that they hold, that I interpret that they have, are ones that I also have, like, thou shalt not steal from your neighbour. I'm like, I'm not going to steal from my neighbour. He's a good guy.
They're not beliefs of a. They're not beliefs. That's.
Their
Yeah, but
beliefs,
that's
their
being
beliefs
moral.
of a value system.
Exactly, but then the Bible implies that, just the same as an atheist would imply those simple things to life.
But then there's a number of different. There's any number of different religions that sort of suggest the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But therefore, the only reason I would choose Church of England is because that's the one I was christened with. You know, I wouldn't say I'm definitely not atheist, and I'm definitely not anything really. But
I'm not sure I could believe in something just because I was christened that way.
Yeah, I don't believe in it. If you had to, like, if I had to write on a form, you know, what am I? I'd say Church of England. But that doesn't mean I'm either 100% that, or I'm even anything else.
Yeah,
I think,
like,
you know,
a lot of the things hold sway. Like, there's a really funny Dara O'Brien bit that sums up the sort of mentality of a lot of Irish people, which is like, look, I don't believe in God or any, like, I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe that he died and was resurrected 3 days later or any of that bollocks. But I'm still a Catholic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, like, most Irish, like, up until like 5 years ago, I was pretty much a self-professed Catholic, and now I'm not. If I had to saddle myself with any religion and follow their beliefs and be part of that tribe, whatever, I'd probably pick Buddhism, because I'd say, out of all of the religions, that one has probably got the ultimate form of, like, inner peace, and I'm totally in favor of that, because I think you can better yourself. Well, you can better yourself with whatever works for you, to be honest. For me, I think Buddhism would work, because I got a lot of hostility that I could do with letting go of, and Buddhism seems to be very good at that particular thing.
Yeah, you don't get many sort of right-wing extreme Buddhists, do you?
Oh, did you see that Onion article from years ago?
No, you're not.
I'm gonna find it and read it out, because it's fucking incredible.
You wouldn't, like, look, there's been, like, if there's a terrorist attack or something, you wouldn't zoom in on this car bomber. It turns out it's a monk in there or something.
Listen to this, right? Buddhist extremist cell vows to unleash tranquility on West. I'm gonna read out the whole thing. No, I don't think I will, but I'll read out. In a 45-minute video posted on Tibetan websites Thursday, the leader of the Buddhist extremist group Kamatana threatened to soon inflict a wave of peace and tranquility on the West, speaking in front of a nondescript altar surrounded by candles, burning sticks of incense, and a small golden statue of Buddha. He goes on to say, in the name of the great teacher, we will stop at nothing to unleash a firestorm of empathy, compassion, and true selflessness upon the West. Adding that all enemies of a freely flowing, unfeathered state of mind will be besieged with pure, everlasting happiness. No city will be spared from spiritual harmony. We will bring about the end to all Western pain and anxiety, to all destructive cravings, to all greed, delusion, and misplaced desire. Indeed, we will bring the entire United States to its knees in deep meditation. That is fucking incredible writing. But yeah, that backs up your point, Jack.
Yeah. What was my point?
Pretty much what I just said, that you'd never find a Buddhist responsible for a mass murder or anything. But yeah, I think Buddhism is one of the most interesting religions for me, because it doesn't seem like it's ever been bastardized by somebody to be used in a negative way on humanity.
Yeah, does it ever get any like negative press?
Yeah, like the ultimate argument against religion is that religion has caused more deaths than everything else combined, which, by the way, for hardcore atheists out there, like, stop saying that. It's complete bollocks and absolutely not true at all. But Buddhism completely spits in the face of that. But I suppose it's not really a religion. You like, everyone knows the story of the Buddha, and it's not as if he ever died and came. Like, there's no magic there. It's all about philosophy, really, and a sort of inner, I suppose, more spirituality than anything else.
But don't you think when I think about religion, and you think about how perfect everything has happened to this point in terms of humanity and the way our bodies work and the way things grow on the ground, that we need, that everything that grows on the ground is great for us. And it's weird to say that all of that was caused by a complete accident.
Yeah, that's sort of like almost uncomfortable. If you, like, it's weird because you don't often get religious people using that as their argument, because
they never do, really. No.
Yeah,
but with this, the world as it is wasn't built for us as we are.
We've
evolved from something.
Yeah.
We've evolved to ourselves.
The way we are now, looking to where it came from, is extremely weird when you think about it in that term.
The fact that we did evolve into a species that has Wi-Fi that I can connect my phone to when I'm in Starbucks, like,
yeah,
that's proof that God exists.
Because you go to Starbucks to get the coffee that grows in the ground. And it's just like, wow.
It is fucking, like, mind-blowing to think about, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I do really, really enjoy a good think about, like, everything.
I've always just thought that as much as it is mind-blowing, there is still a certain logic to it.
Oh, it's completely logical as well. Like, if you take the sort of emotive response out of it and you see it for what it is, it's a purely scientific calculation.
Yeah, if you take the romance of the story.
Yeah.
It's a formula. Essentially, you could probably work it out, using numbers or something.
We're all numbers.
Yeah, ones and zeros, friends.
Tune in next week for
For
the
more.
Midnight Hour.
Seamless.
What was the name of the band?
Soho Slags.
Soho Slags.
What was the
Debut
name?
single out next week.
The Black Spider Memoirs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They're the support act.
Normally.
World is a ghetto, full of magazines, full clips, and heavy metal when the smoke settles. I'm just looking for a big yellow. It's 6-inch stilettos, Dr. Dre. Hello. Percolating, keep 'em waiting while you sitting there hating. Your bitch is hyperventilating, hoping that we penetrating. You get snating, cause I never been to Satan. For hardcore administrating, gangbang affiliating. MC Winner had you wildin' off a zone in a whole half a gallon. Get the dialing, 911 emergency. And you can tell him, it's my son, he's hurting me. And he's a felon, on parole for robbery. Ain't no copping a plea, ain't no stopping a G. I'm in the 6, you got to hop in the 3. Company monopoly, you handle shit sloppily. I drop a key properly. They call me the Don Dada, pop a collar, drop a dollar. If you hear me, you can holler, even Rockwaller. Follow the Impala, wanna talk about this concrete nigga? I'm a scholar, the incredible, heterosexual, credible, beggar hoe, let it go. Dick ain't edible, nigga ain't federal. I plan shit while you handpick motherfuckers giving up transcript. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking things I get. Hello. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking things I get. Hello. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking things I get. Hello. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking things I get. Feeling
blows up your spot. Take your notebook, your bitch, and your clock. This motherfucker thought the coochie had a padlock. You slapped her ass, that's alarming, cause she want my worm like Carmen. We chin check niggas, them thin check niggas. Run trains on gold diggers, beware these faux niggas. Scaring motherfuckers like Stephen King flicks. Making niggas clear the room like a dyke bleeding dick. Make it second to none shit, nigga like quick. So when I bomb first, nigga, who you rolling with? Fuck that ice on your wrist, fuck your fine ass bitch, cause you can lose it in a tussle. Nigga, watch me hustle. Watch niggas kiss my ass without flexing a muscle. Bitches all in the back, their knees waiting to buckle. Same time, same channel, don't change the dial. Niggas for life, fucking your wife, these niggas fine. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get.
And you don't stop. I was a terror since the public school era. Bathroom passes, cutting classes, squeezing asses. Smoking blunts was a daily routine since 13. A chubby nigga on the scene. I used to have the tray deuce and the deuce in my bubble goose. Now I got the Mac in my knapsack, lounging black, smoking sacks up in accent sidekicks with my sidekicks, rocking fly kicks. Honeys wanna chat, but all we wanna know is where the party at. And can I bring my gat? If not, I hope I don't get shot. Better throw my vest on my chest, cause niggas is a mess. It don't take nothing but frontin' for me to start something. Bugging and bucking at niggas like I was duck hunting. Dumbing out just me and my crew, cause all we wanna do is I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. Hugs from the honeys, pound from the roughnecks. See my man say that I knew from the projects. Said he had beef, asked me if I had my piece. Sure do, 222s in my shoes. Holla if you need me, love, I'm in the house. Roam and strom, see what the honeys is about. Moet poppin', ho hoppin', ain't no stoppin'. Big Papa, I'm a bad boy. Niggas wanna front, who got your back? Niggas wanna flex, who got the gat? It ain't hard to tell, I'm the East Coast overdoser. Nigga, you scared, you're supposed to. Nigga, I toast you. Put fear in your heart. Fuck up the party before it even starts. Is he drunk off the Henny and skunk? On some brand Nubian shit, beat down walls. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. I started this gangsta shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get.
I've got to think about that.
And that's why I think
There are aliens.
yeah, there has to be, based on what I just said just now. That you missed, Loosemore. Hello.
Hello.
What?
We're gonna do the podcast.
Okay, what are we doing about it?
We don't know, but we're gonna skip all the pleasantries and just go straight into it.
Wow.
Yep. Starting now.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the intro, Loosemore?
Yeah, write it in the thing and I'll read it out. Write whatever you want to write. Doesn't have to be the intro. Just write something weird and I'll just read it in an Irish accent.
jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. That's a quite famous thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The person who created the bomb.
It was the intro to one of the podcasts, actually.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I might have listened to that one.
Funnily enough, Lewis Moore's being hit by an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
In the build up to him.
Just swallowed one.
Right.
What was that laugh? That's like a robot laugh.
Is that it? And now I am become what?
Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
I know that doesn't make sense, but grammatically that doesn't make sense either.
Because it's translated from Indian.
Have I
Don't
got
make me assume my ultimate form.
have
Okay, I'll write the actual thing.
Yeah, it's painful. No.
Nah, my actual band name would be the Small Town Zombie Crisis.
Shit.
I've told you that before and you said it was good.
Global thermal nuclear attack. That's a pretty good name. And then you could like use the initials to make whatever that would spell.
GTN.
Global
Global Transfer Network.
Have you read the second one after the story we just read about
Yeah,
the
I have,
defendant?
yeah.
That his description of hell is a little more.
Yeah, I think we should
That's
start
some-
next week's episode with that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bookmark it.
What a hook.
Ooh. Tune in next week.
That will keep on listening.
It
Yeah.
fucking will, though.
Yeah. So I guess
Shall we
we're
tell
coming
them
to
it
the end.
includes glowing red pits? Oh.
It will feature a debut single from Soho Slags.
Oh. Yeah, because you promised episode 50 you'd sing at the end of the episode.
Only 9 episodes to go, Jack.
To go, yeah. So get the Soho Slags together, Jack, and write a fucking song.
You guys want to play clubs?
Let's play